There's a mistake that many people, especially ladies, make over and over again, and it's so common that you might not even realize you're doing it yourself. And that mistake is dating a partner's potential instead of dating your standards. It's when you settle for a partner based on a version you believe they could become if they just tried harder, healed more, matured faster, or finally started putting in the effort you've been waiting for. Instead of settling for a partner based on their real-life actions and behavior in the present moment, you date them based on what you believe they can bring to the table in the future. You start telling yourself things like, they just need time, or they're not there yet, or I can see their potential if they just work on themselves. And it feels hopeful in the beginning, even loving in a way, because you're a patient and understanding person. But what you don't realize is that while you are investing your emotions, your time, and your energy into who they could be, that's where the emotional trap begins. You see, potential feels exciting in the beginning. It feels like you're discovering something hidden, something unfinished, something worth waiting for. But potential is not reality. It is only a possibility, and possibilities do not guarantee change. The danger of dating potential is that you end up adjusting your standards and expectations around what you hope will happen instead of what is actually happening. You convince yourself that the inconsistencies they show you will improve, that the emotional distance from them will eventually close, and that the bare minimum effort from them is just temporary. But then weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, and the pattern remains the same. The worst thing about choosing someone who you feel has the potential to be a better partner is that it keeps you stuck in a cycle of waiting. You wait for them to become more attentive. You wait for them to become more emotionally available. You wait for them to finally show up with the consistency and effort you have been trying to believe in from the beginning. And while you are waiting, you begin to tolerate things you once said you never would. Mixed signals start feeling normal. Inconsistent communication becomes something you try to understand instead of questioning. Bare minimum effort starts feeling like something you should be grateful for instead of something you should reassess. And because you are so emotionally invested in the version of them you believe in, you start ignoring how drained you feel in the present moment. You call it being patient, but deep down, it is you extending yourself beyond your own emotional limits just to keep the relationship alive. And that is where the real injustice happens, not just in how they treat you, but in how you begin to treat yourself. You start becoming smaller in your own life to make space for their inconsistency. You stop expressing your needs fully because you don't want to pressure them or seem too much. You begin walking carefully around their moods, their reactions, their comfort, while slowly abandoning your own emotional comfort in the process. The truth is, dating a partner's potential often keeps you in a quiet state of emotional exhaustion. You are constantly trying to bridge the gap between where they are and where you believe they could be. You become the one who understands, who waits, who forgives, who explains, who adjusts. But love should not feel like you are carrying the weight of someone else's growth while your own emotional needs are being neglected in the process. And the most painful part is that you often already feel the truth in your body before you are willing to admit it in your mind. You feel it in the disappointment after unmet expectations. You feel it in the way you have to constantly convince yourself that things are not that bad. But deep down, you know that if you remove the potential you are holding on to, you would be left with a relationship that does not feel stable, safe, or consistent. And here's a brutal truth you need to hear. You cannot build a healthy relationship on the idea of who a partner might become someday. Dating your standards means you stop negotiating with inconsistency. It means you stop excusing emotional unavailability as potential. It means you stop waiting for a partner to finally become what you have been imagining and start paying attention to whether they already align with what you need. It is not about expecting perfection, it is about expecting presence, respect, and consistency. Because when a partner truly aligns with your standards, you don't have to constantly adjust your expectations. You don't have to overthink their behavior or decode their effort. You simply feel it. You feel the stability, the clarity, the emotional safety that does not require you to shrink yourself to maintain it. Because at the end of the day, you don't need a partner who has the potential to treat you well. You need a partner who already does. So today, I want you to take a moment and be honest with yourself. Are you truly happy with the version of your current partner that you are actually experiencing right now? Or are you quietly unhappy on the inside because you chose them based on their potential instead of their reality? Are you constantly waiting for them to become more consistent, more emotionally available, more intentional, while ignoring how you feel in the present moment? Because the truth is, your heart already knows the answer before your mind is ready to admit it. But you cannot feel secure in a connection that only feels right in imagined future moments. So take an honest step back, not to judge yourself, but to finally see clearly. Because the moment you stop measuring your relationship by potential and start measuring it by reality, you give yourself permission to choose differently. And sometimes the most powerful choice you can make is no longer asking who they might become, but finally asking whether who they are right now is truly what you deserve.